Hey guys, and welcome to game number 44 out of 100 of my Human vs. AI series, where I'm taking on the AI-powered Scrabble bot BestBot in a 100-game match. We're coming off of a good, convincing win in game 43, so hopefully we can keep the momentum strong here. I've got Hauler on my opening rack, which is probably what I'll play. 26 points, keeping the E. There is an anagram of Haleru, which is a fun six-letter word ending in a U. It's a plural of Haler. And it doesn't take an S, which is interesting, but I don't really like putting this E and this U next to the double letters. I always say it's not good to put vowels next to these squares if you can help it, just because if, say, the bot has the X, it can play XU both ways, or even not, aside from the X, right? It can just play something like ham over there, and that's an easy 30-35 points, whereas after Hauler, something like that just isn't possible, because with the L and the R next to the double letter scores, you can only overlap with vowels. So it's just a lot harder for the bot to score points easily in that way. And I think that's more of an issue than the S-hook. I mean, the S-hook probably is not going to even stay open for that long. At some point, this will be overlapped, and that won't be a factor, or the S-hook will just be used and probably not be an annoyance for all that long. But anyway, nice draw here. I have develop with a blank L. Actually, develop takes it back E. So if this stays open, that would be a very nice 92-point bingo to the triple on the 8 row over here. Do I have any double doubles through this A? It's another thing always to look at. Probably not. Overpaid does not work because I have 2 E's. Repaved is a double-double, but it's not a bingo, because it keeps an O on my rack, so probably not. Yeah, develop to that E looks very good right now. Hopefully it'll stay open. Of course, I have many places to play develop or develops too. I can play it over here, I can play it over here, and I can also play through this L and Holler. While it does stay open, just worth quickly taking a look at what it played to see if it gives me a better opening. I could play develop here. That's 89 points, which is quite a lot, but I think I'm still better off playing to the E. Now, the interesting thing is playing to the E probably gives back more bingos immediately, just because I'm exposing all of those floaters for 8s. That being said, the placement of develop here is also kind of scary, just because, like I said, it does take the E hook, and I could give back some double doubles here ending in ED, ER, ES that will score quite a lot of points. Of course, develop also takes an S, and there are plenty of words ending in like ST that the bot could have as well. So it's pretty scary to play it here as well. I think I would rather just take the extra couple of points and live with opening up more lines for 8s. I'd rather do that than open up a super scary line for 7s that could stay open for a while. So yeah, let's go ahead and bingo here. And we get some I's. I do have the S, which is nice, but yeah, 3 I's is always a bit of a problem to be reckoned with. Very difficult to play off a lot of I's. And the bot gets down flavors for 82, so we're back to just about an even game. Both blanks gone quickly. And yeah, I mean, like I said, my rack here is good, other than the fact that I have 3 I's. If I can get rid of 2 of them, then the rest of my rack is quite solid. Can I play Ilya, perhaps? I don't think so. Oh, one play that's interesting, though, is I can play Ali. Kind of a difficult play to see, actually, at first. Just because the last thing you're thinking with this rack is to look for another vowel. But at the same time, when I have a lot of I's and I also have an L, I'm just kind of naturally thinking about this word because it does come up a lot, and I happen to see that A. It's only 10 points, but it gets rid of 2 of my I's. It also sets up the S hook, which I have. There's still 2 S's unseen, so of course the bot could have one of the S's, but it's still fairly unlikely. The bot just played 7 tiles, but it was drawing from a bag of 70 tiles, so roughly speaking, this isn't exact, but the odds that it pulled another S are 7 times 2, because there's 2 S's, so 14 out of 70, which would be precisely 1/5. Again, that's not an exact calculation, but it's pretty close. So the odds that the bot has an S are only about 20% or 1/5, which is not all that high. And of course, the odds that I'm going to have an S on my next turn are 100% because I am keeping one. So that is an interesting play for sure. And it's probably what I'm going to do, because I don't see a way for me to dispose of 2 eyes while scoring any more than that. I have villi over here, but it doesn't get to the double, and it keeps 3 vowels, so that's pretty bad. Nothing through this U and Holler is hooking jowl. Yeah, I just don't have anything like over here that's going to work. Again, I don't really want to consider anything that doesn't get rid of 2 eyes. I'm not going to play jails. It's 24 points, but it keeps a horrible leave, EII. It also creates a big hotspot on the second row here, especially with the Z still unseen. So this would definitely not be a smart decision in this position. I mean, I could play a live, but that keeps 2 eyes. Yeah, I think Ali it is. Like I said, it's not that likely the bot will have an S. So let's go for it. What have I drawn here? I feel like there's something. There's no 7. Oddities. This D doesn't fit. Alright, well, the S hook is now basically gone. I mean, I could still play something maybe on the bottom left, like a 4, but that's not going to be particularly exciting. Definitely no bingos coming down over there. No 2-letter words with a C, so that's makes it a little difficult, but I feel like there's got to be a bingo here, right? Maybe there's not. Diorites through an R doesn't fit. Is there anything through an L? Don't believe so. Like I said, oddities through a D, but that doesn't fit. Doubt there's a 9. Hoodiest or duties. I guess I could play duty to set up another S hook. Kind of blows up the rack a little bit, but not terrible. Scores 22 points. What other options? I haven't developed. I could play id. That's 22. Now this leave, it's a little bit more bingo prone than the leave after duty, just because it keeps a lot of good bingo tiles. The problem is it's a little vowel heavy, so if I draw a couple of vowels, it's going to be clunky. And it's just also keeping as it's a 5-tile leave with all 1-pointers. It does leave me vulnerable to not being able to score a lot of points if I were to not draw a bingo. So I'm not too thrilled about that option, I don't think. Anything here? I mean, I have plays. I can play Dote, but it keeps 2 eyes, which again, I really, really want to avoid if possible. This also gives back a massive hook here. A takes an E in addition to a D and an S, so not at all keen on doing that right now. I guess there's also Hoodie. I would rather play Duty, though, even though keeping the T makes this leave a little better, because Hoodie also takes an R. There's 5 R's unseen, whereas Duty only takes an S, so it makes the S hook a little bit more valuable to play Duty, because that's the only thing it takes. So I'd rather do that. Olive is an option here, but I think Duty is better. This leave is not particularly good, especially if I don't draw an E. See, I think it's between... I don't really like id and developed very much. Like I said, that leave, and it's also blocks the J column. There just aren't a lot of places to play 7s, and I don't want to have to count on drawing something to the D if I keep that. Like, I don't want it to be either I draw something to the D or I score 12 next turn. That's just not a good position to be in. I also am not dying to just blow up the rack with Joist or Joisted. It doesn't even score that much more than Duty. So, yeah, unless I can quickly see something else, which I am not, I'm going to go ahead and play Duty. And, alright, well, I'm definitely glad I got rid of one of my eyes, because I drew another one, and the bot quickly bingos with Gentris. So, fortunately, I gave it the tile it needed for its bingo, which is a shame. I have misbike, which is not a word, unfortunately. Misbiked would be quite a lot of points. But I guess you are, well, there are, I guess, proper ways to ride a bike, but you can't, at least according to the Scrabble dictionary, you can't misbike or improperly ride a bike in that sense. There are certainly words starting with miss that sound more wacky than misbike. Like, mislike is a word, but not misbike. Anyway, do have bikey, B-I-K-I-E, that is a word. Nothing really through this G that I see. Anything through this E? Not much. I feel like I should have something through one of these E's and Gentris that scores pretty well. Well, I do have a cool play, though. I have Miss Live as well, speaking of miss words. It's 48 points. It's a lot of points. KB is... it's an interesting leave. It's obviously not a good bingo leave, but it could potentially yield some good scoring plays. And that's definitely an option to keep in mind, because, I mean... Bikey here, 28. That's 20 fewer points. That's a lot of points to give up. Obviously, MS is a much better leave, and especially with duties available, it is nice keeping that S. So, there is quite a bit to be said for that. 20 points, though, it's hard to justify giving up 20 points. I could also really be aggressive with my S with Kibby here. But, again, I'm just giving up so many points. I don't really think I want to do that. And then the problem is if the bot just plays through the E and Gentris, then that spot is not all that useful. So I think I'm going to take the points with Miss Live. Like I said, it gets me to within 13. BK, I'm probably not bingoing, but if I can get the right tiles, I'll be able to hopefully score like 30 or 40 again next turn and maybe claw my way back without a bingo. I think that's a good plan here. Generally, if you're down this many, or if you're down like 60 or so. If you're down over 100, you probably do need to try to bingo ASAP, but if you're down like 60, you often don't need to panic and just go all out on bingoing. It's often more prudent to try to just outscore, especially in a board like this with a lot of opportunities and keeping some scoring tiles. So I think I'm going to go ahead and play that, and unfortunately it does not work out well at all. Z-Boost for 72, yikes. Alright, that was not how I was hoping this would play out. I guess this is forced. I mean, I gotta get rid of this Q. And yeah, I mean, if I can maybe get another Val here and score pretty well and then bingo, I have some chances. It's not looking good. Not looking good, but still maybe have some outside chances here. We will see. Oh boy. Okay. Well, now I think this is probably game over. The bot bingos again with Trotted. Yeah, that's just brutal. 3 70-point plays in a row. Gentris for 72, Z-Boost for 72, Trotted for 71. That's pretty tough to overcome. And yeah, I mean, I've got one Val here. Just not really all that much to be done, unfortunately. Alright, yeah, I think I'm pretty much lost. I guess I could try something through this O, like Bork or Bonk. I guess if I play this, I mean, there's an S unseen. So yeah, I take a risk that the bot has the S and is going to bingo again and crush me, but I also could give myself some chances. Like, if I can draw the S and bingo for 100 and the bot draws badly, maybe I have some chances. Like, it's worth a shot, I think. Like, if I don't do something like that, I'm not going to win. I'm going to need probably 2 bingos and then some. So I can't afford to just do something passive here if I want to try to win this game. I need to do something aggressive and take a risk. And like I said, I don't really care too much about spread in this series, so I think this is the play. Like, if I just play something like Need for 30, which is much safer, I'm still down 100 basically, plus whatever the bot plays. I'm keeping a not so great lead, and I'm shutting down the right side of the board. This is just not the way you're ever going to come back. I was saying earlier how if the score is like 50, 60 down, you could sometimes try to just outscore your opponent. Not when you're down 125. You're not coming back without bingoing and probably bingoing multiple times and quickly. So, yeah, this is, again, not like I'm likely to win or anything after this, but it gives me, I think, some outside shot. So let's do that, and I didn't draw the S, which isn't shocking, but it, like I said, it was worth a shot. And, yeah, that is probably going to just about do it, because, yeah, I draw a G and another R. Unless I get an A for Garroted, I don't think I have any bingos, but probably not going to get one. And the bot just plays Riking probably to block that spot, which certainly makes sense. And yeah, I mean, I guess you could still hit something ending in like EES potentially later on in the game. So I want to keep that in mind. I feel like I'll just play GOR down here for 21 points, inserting the G between the E and the other G to make egg. Keeps DERT, which is a great leave. A lot of vowels unseen, so I could maybe hit something to this D over here and at least give myself maybe some chances. Yeah, I wouldn't mind getting rid of my D as well, just because I am partially going for that D, and having another D doesn't really help me, but I don't see a good way to do that. I still would much rather get rid of my G than my D, so I think Gore here is fine. Alright, well that's a good draw. Dearest, redates, derates, and sedator. No name, burning 3 ends. And I must have something, right? Wait a minute. So reseated. None of the 7s play on the 3rd row here, because none of them end in a vowel. Once again, sedator, derates, redates, dearest. Through the EF, redefeats, defeaters, federates. No. Do I not have a bingo here with this? Really? Desalter, treadles? How do I not have a bingo? That's amazing. There's nothing to the D, right? D-rated plus an S? I don't believe there's anything. I hope I'm not missing something, but I don't believe there is anything to this D. That's amazing that there's no bingo here. Dang it. Wow. It's shocking to have this good a rack and not have a playable bingo, but I think that's exactly what's going on here. So, probably I should just play off ED. Not there, probably right here. Score a few points, and maybe I can bingo next turn. I mean, I don't really see anything better to do. There's no point in trying to open a triple-triple here. I mean, it's not a great pool, but the bot is just going to block. It's, you know, you could say, oh, well, if you don't care about spread, why don't you try it? Well, the thing is, even if the bot has like 7 vowels, it's going to be able to play something through that D for 12 points and just block. There's no realistic way that stays open. So you're just completely throwing away spread for no gain. Like, yeah, if it gave me a 2% shot, I would try it, but it just doesn't even give me a 2% shot. Because looking at the pool, there's no possible way that the bot won't be able to block, and at this score, there's no possible way the bot will choose not to block if it can block, and it will be able to block. So there's just no reason to try that. It's never going to work. Yeah, so I think just DE here. I'm still kind of in disbelief I can't bingo, but I feel pretty confident I'm not missing something with a rack this good, and I feel pretty confident that I went through all the 7s and the 8s that are possible, and none of them fit, so I think we're not bingoing, and hopefully next turn. Well, I have 7s again. I've got Wafters and Fretsaw, but I still don't think they're going to play. Dwarfist through the D, but I need to end with a D, not start with a D, so still probably not going to be able to bingo here, which is a bit frustrating. Now, granted, even if I bingo at this point in the game, I'm probably not going to be able to win. Bot plays 2B, 2 left in the bag. I guess I'll fish off an F and go for eastward. There's 3 A's unseen, so I've got some chances to hit it. Also, an E would give me Tarwheat, so I mean, the bot will probably block, but I've got nothing to lose. I might as well try. So let's ditch this F and see if I can't get an A out of the bag. I don't. I draw a Y. Trolleys doesn't fit through this L. So I guess just probably Eggy and U or Yaw most likely. I guess there's picks, but the bot isn't going to be able to overlap. Doesn't take anything other than an M in the unseen pool, and MX, of course, is not a word. I guess Max on the top right could happen. But yeah, I'll probably just play U and then star somewhere, or arts or something like that. That's most likely going to be my best option. Also, it's pretty hard for the bot to do anything in the bottom right. I guess if it has AX, it could play racks, but depending on what it does, I may want to leave that open just because I can score much better over here with my W, and the bot will probably block that. Like, if I play this, it's very hard for the bot to block Yar. Whereas if I play Yar first, they can block 2s pretty easily, and it's just not going to be that easy for me to play 2s elsewhere, let alone for that many points. And Yar will probably go out for some amount of points elsewhere on the board. Alright, so Well, now I don't really want to leave that open because the bot's just going to play racks. It does have max as well, though, so at least I could force it not to play max effectively by leaving that open. So, or like I said, I could play Yar now or YER. Doesn't really matter. If I play Yar now, then I mean, it can either play max and let me have twos for a lot, which it probably will, because like, what's it gonna do on the top left? It's not gonna play XU without even giving me wets for more, and it just like can't really do anything else, and also get rid of its X. So I think it would have to play max. It's not worth it for me to block max, because the bot can still play racks or max under the H and A and hate. And I just can't really do anything at all on the top right that's reasonable. So what's more, Yar and then twos, or U and then Rat? So I get 9 more for Yaw, and then twos is 28, and then Rats is... Oh, no, this is better, right? Well, no, it's the same, actually. That's 19. That's funny. So that actually ends up being exactly the same. I get 9 more for the play on the bottom right and 9 fewer for the play on the top left, or vice versa. So, it doesn't really matter, like I said. I'll just play, I'll play you first. Like I said, no big deal either way. I'm sure we're going to see Max or Mux. Like I said, it doesn't really matter. And yeah, I think just Rats over here has got to be my best out. Can't imagine there's anything better, so I'll go ahead and do that. Yeah, a bit of a tough game here. 364, 485. We lose by 121. Hey guys, before I jump into the analysis, I wanted to remind you that I offer Scrabble lessons, and they can be a really fun and useful tool if you're a tournament or casual player looking to improve your game, or perhaps if you have a friend or family member who loves Scrabble and might be interested in learning more about what it's like to play at the competitive level. If you're interested, then please check out my website, which I've linked in the description below. Thanks for considering, guys, and now let's get back to the analysis. Was going okay, and then the bot played for 72, 72, and 71 back to back to back, and that was kind of that. So it happens. You know, like I said, I still feel like I played a pretty good game, just too much firepower for the bot 3 turns in a row, and that was going to be pretty tough to overcome, and I missed Overhoped. Wow. As a 9 for 118. Goodness. Wow. It's funny, because I quickly glanced at the AW. I saw Overpaw, and I was like, that's not a word. I didn't think about Overhoped. Honestly, I'm not going to lie, I don't think I would have been sure that was good. Overhope doesn't even ring that much of a bell. I assume it's the past tense of overhope, right? It's not like a sticky D9. Yeah, Overhope, like I said, just doesn't even really ring a bell. Honestly, I don't think I would have tried this even if I saw it. But I guess I need to review my overwords. Well, this is obviously a sizable mistake. 26 more points. That just really goes to show you guys the power of these double-doubles, getting 4 times the value for your word. Because I still had a triple here. It's not like I didn't score a lot. I still scored 92 points, but Overhoped was a whopping 118. So, obviously a very, very sizable miss there. Ollie looks like a good play on this turn. Bot plays Iliac. Ooh, Otis for 35. Interesting. I didn't really think about using that spot too much. That's probably worth it. I saw this. I really didn't like that. Setting up the E-hook. Yeah, but there's still 8 E's unseen. Like, again, I like this play. Otis is the only other play I think might be better. I like this because it sets up a hook that I have that the bot is less likely to have, as opposed to Hoodie with 5 R's unseen or Duty with 8 more E's unseen. So I think this is the best play up there. Otis for 35 is probably worth it. 13 more points. The S does become pretty valuable after Duty, but is it worth 13? Probably not quite. I mean, EI is still not a particularly bad leave. Yeah, I think Otis is a little better. Not like a big mistake, but probably a little bit of a mistake. I think Miss Liv is good here. I didn't consider Bio for 31, but I feel like this is kind of trying to do too many things at once. Like, if I'm going to keep the S and a good bingo leave, I want to get rid of the K. Like, I either want to keep the K and then just sort of go all in on scoring, or go all in on bingoing and get rid of the K. This sort of is like trying to do both at once, and that doesn't really work, right? Like, I can't both bingo and score a lot on one turn, unless I happen to draw bingo with the K, which is pretty unlikely to happen. Like in general, you kind of want to try to go the scoring route or the bingo route in these kind of positions where you're trying to come back. And like I said, when you're down more, then trying to go the bingo route probably makes sense because you really need to take those chances and try to bingo ASAP to get back into the game. But I'm not down that much. I'm down 60, so I feel like going the scoring route here, taking the extra points and keeping some scoring tiles is perfectly reasonable. Of course, the bot gets down Zebras and then trotted, and that's basically game over at this point. Curbed, I guess, would have been a little better than Need, which I looked at here. But again, I mean, it's a couple more points. But I'm just not opening anything. I'm down 100. There's very few places to bingo left at this point. I need to take some sort of chance like this. And the bot smartly blocks with Riking. Yeah, at this point, there's really just not much else to be done. And yeah, there was no bingo here, amazingly, on this rack, which once again makes 4 7-letter words. But none of them play. None of the 8s fit, so really not much else for me to do other than do this and hope to draw bingo next turn, which I once again did, but it didn't play. I have Fretsaw Wafters. I figured I'd go for an A for Eastward for a big bingo on the A column just because there are still 3 A's left. The bot had all of them, it turns out. I didn't get it. Oh. Sneaky. I didn't think about playing all the way up there. Very cool. Yeah, that would have been 55 points. So that almost certainly would have netted me a bit more than you. I mean, playing the W, I can't score all that much with the W, to be honest. I might only be able to get 5 for the W. You're like, why am I actually getting more than 5 points for this W on the board? That's actually a fair question. Not sure. So this wouldn't have even been that much better, because that would have gotten me 60 over 2 turns, whereas I got 36 plus 19, 55. So it's actually only a 5-point mistake, it looks like, in the endgame, just because my outplay was a lot better with rats than it would have been with just a W. But still definitely a cool opportunity missed there nonetheless. And, well, I can't really say I played well this game because of missing Overhoped for 118 on turn 2. After that, I think I played reasonably well. A couple other questionable plays. Duty maybe should have been Otis instead. But, you know, overall, it was it's tough to overcome when your opponent scores 70 plus 3 turns in a row. I feel like I gave it a decent effort and just didn't make it happen. But, you know, like I said, Overhoped, I wish I found it. I presumably should have known it because it's an A plus a D. And I guess I sort of knew it, but I don't think if I had the confidence to play it. So, disappointing miss, but it happens. And, yeah, well played to the bot as always. And we now fall back 8 games behind once again. We are now 18 and 26. So I was really hoping to follow up our nice win in the previous game with another one here. Unfortunately, it didn't happen, but there are still a lot of games to go. We're not even halfway done with this series, so hoping we can get some more wins in before we reach the halfway point in, I guess, just a couple weeks from now. So that's it for this video, guys. Thanks as always for the support and for watching, and I will see you all soon for the next one. Have a good one. Bye-bye.